Can President Trump actually seize the Panama Canal?
We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
Marco Rubio has made his first foreign trip as Secretary of State to Central America and visited Panama itself, showing the Trump administration means business. But let's just remind ourselves what the Panama Canal is. It's 50 miles long and links the Caribbean Sea and Atlantic Ocean on one side with the Pacific Ocean on the other, and it's a key global trade route. America's history with the canal goes back more than a century. The US first signed a treaty with Panama in 1903, and that gave America jurisdiction over the area, and they began building the waterway the following year. It took 10 years to complete and was considered one of the greatest feats of engineering at the time. It was also the most expensive thing the US had ever built.
Through the tropical seas of the Pacific to the Panama Canal.
For the next few decades, the Panama Canal was controlled by the United States, but relations between the two countries steadily got worse.
Canals do seem to cause trouble.
People in Panama grew angry about how the American-controlled zone in their country had a higher standard of living than theirs, and the US was seen as a colonial power. Tensions peaked when dozens of Panamanians were killed after riots broke out over the canal in 1964. There was concern about a wider conflict that could erupt in an already volatile region. And so after years of dispute, President Jimmy Carter signed treaties in 1977 that slowly gave control of the canal back to Panama, with the nation officially taking over operations from 1999.
Giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election, in my opinion. Giving the Panama Canal to Panama was a very big mistake.
While Jimmy Carter did lose the 1980 election to Ronald Reagan in a landslide, and Reagan himself was opposed to the treaty, he didn't try to repeal it while in power, and no other president since has tried either. So why does Trump want to reclaim the canal now, almost half a century later? Well, he says that Panama is taking advantage of the US and claims they are making America pay more to use the canal than other countries. And Panama completely denies that accusation.
The purpose of our deal and the spirit of our treaty has been totally violated.
There's also another reason Trump wants to take the canal back.
It's become a hot subject because China essentially has taken it over, and we're not going to let that happen.
China is the canal's second most regular user. Ports on either side of the route are owned by Hong Kong companies. And China's influence across Central America has been growing steadily, something Trump wants to stop. So can the US actually take back control? Despite the tough words, Donald Trump is an isolationist who doesn't like to commit US troops abroad. And back in the 1970s, President Carter warned that it might take as many as 100,000 American soldiers to protect and control the canal. And Panama's president has already dismissed Trump's threats.
El Canal de Panamá es de Panamá y seguirá siendo de Panamá. El Canal de Panamá no fue una concesión ni una dádiva.
It might be part of a pattern we've seen before, Trump talking tough on the world stage to get what he wants from allies and enemies, as we saw recently with Colombia, where he threatened a trade war with the country unless they took in US military planes carrying deported migrants. But, despite all of this, with Trump, we'd be mad to rule it out.
They laugh at us because they think we're stupid, but we're not stupid anymore.